Good evening and many thanks for joining us and welcome to CoreTV News at 7 with me, Emmanuel Ezekiel. As the multinational offensive continues, President Goodluck Jonathan predicted that the northeastern states of Yobe and Adamawa would be cleared of Boko Haram territory before the end of next week. He said he hopes neighboring Borno State, where the group started, will be cleared in the next 3 weeks. The president made this declaration in an interview with the Voice of America in Abuja, where he affirmed that Boko Haram troops are being trained alongside ISIS militants. He, however, declined to mention the name of the countries where the trainings are taking place. Also in the interview, President Jonathan credited both the intervention of Nigeria's neighbors as well as the acquisition of new weapons for turning the tide against the militants. The House of Representatives on Tuesday urged the federal government to give a posthumous award to the late Wing Commander Chimda Hedima. Chimda was the Air Force pilot who was captured and later killed by insurgents after he crashed his fighter jet in a Boko Haram, killing 63 of them. The lawmakers also called on Nigeria Air Force to name the brand of aircraft he flew after him. Pius Samuel reports that the motion, which enjoined unanimous support, was raised by Emmanuel, representing Makurdi Guma Federal Constituency.
The atmosphere was calm when the motion was read by Emmanuel Jimmy. In a solemn tone, he recalled what happened to the Air Force personnel on September 11, 2014.
This House recalls that the late Wing Commander Hedima and his colleague were captured when their plane came down after sustaining gunfire. This House realizes that Commander Hedima and his colleague opted to inflict maximum damage on the enemy at a risk to their own lives when they could have parachuted from the doomed plane at a time that could have afforded them a likelier chance of avoiding capture, but instead chose to fly the plane to a point where it would crash land on the enemy position, thus leaving them no escape route from capture.
He also saluted the courage of the officers who sacrificed their lives for the survival of the nation.
Speaker, and dear colleagues, this House resolves: 1. To observe a minute's standing ovation for the bravery shown by late Wing Commander Hedima and many other personnel of the armed forces who continue to put their lives in harm's way for the unity of our country. 2. The House mandates the Committee on Defense to liaise with the executive arm of government to ensure that posthumous national awards are given to late Wing Commander Hedima and his colleague for their uncommon acts of bravery and patriotism. 3. This House urged the Nigerian Air Force to name the brand of aircraft flown by late Wing Commander Hedima after him.
The House recalled that the late Wing Commander and his colleague were captured when they steered their plane deliberately into a Boko Haram camp.
I think the motion and the prayers are very clear. I'll therefore go ahead to put the question, except if there's any member speaking against it. Those in support of this motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. May we rise and observe the minute of standing ovation and commendation for the commander. Are you praying? So put your cap back.
Having paid the supreme price, the House refers to them as heroes whose sacrifice for the nation ought to be applauded and recognized. To ensure this happened, the federal legislators mandated the Committee on Defense to liaise with the executive to ensure that posthumous national awards are given to late Wing Commander Hedima and his colleagues. The House also urged the executive to award scholarships to first-degree level to the children of the late Air Force pilot. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
People have been confirmed dead and property worth millions of naira lost after an early morning fire that gutted the Mile 12 market in the Koshofe area of Lagos. Although the cause of the fire had yet to be ascertained, it was learned that no fewer than 20 shops were consumed by the inferno. The General Manager of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Femi Oke Osoyintolu, however, told newsmen that preliminary investigation revealed that petrol and diesel were stored in the shops. He added that 4 vehicles, 5 motorcycles and 2 trucks were also destroyed. The Lasema boss said the fire was put out at 8:40 a.m. while recovery commenced. The All Progressives Congress has called on President Goodluck Jonathan to apologize to Nigerians for the embarrassment he has caused them over his phantom phone conversation with the King of Morocco. In a statement in Lagos on Friday, the National Publicity Secretary of the party said that the president had no option other than to apologize to Nigerians. APC argued that based on the antecedents of the Jonathan administration, which it said had little or no regard for truth, it is safe to assume that the president did not hold any phone conversation with King Mohammed VI of Morocco. It added that the party will be glad if Jonathan could prove conclusively that he spoke with the king. And moving on now, less than a month to the presidential election, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has challenged PDP governors to concentrate on how to win their different states instead of their continuous visit to Lagos State. Fashola made this statement at the commissioning of a housing estate in Abijo, Ibejuleki area of the state. Abiola Oluwole has more.
In a bid to further address housing deficit in the state, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has commissioned 324 units of 2- and 3-bedroom bungalows and duplexes at Ibejuleki area of the state. Before cutting the tape to signal the official opening of the estate, Fashola says the coming general elections will be a contest between the working models of the APC and that of the PDP. He, however, called on PDP governors to channel their attention to how to win their state for their party instead of the ceaseless visits to Lagos.
I hear that their governors came to Lagos. I hope that somebody took them across the Lekki Link Bridge, so that instead of waiting for the federal government to come and build the second Niger bridge, they should get up and go and do their own work. That bridge was built without a kobo from the federal government. I hope that somebody took them around our housing estate so that they should get up and go and do some of what we are doing. I know they came for tutorial, but I hope that they learned the right things. It is too late. A presidential election is won and fought on the record of the incumbent over 6 years, not what he does in 4 weeks to the election. So they better go back to their states and go and make sure they deliver their states, because Lagos is gone. Lagos is decided. Lagos wants change. Change in Abuja.
The project is a public-private partnership.
You're still watching CoreTV News at 7. We'll go for a quick commercial break. The news returns shortly. Stay with us.
Don't you wish your mommy was fine like mine? Yeah. Don't you wish your mommy was smart like mine? Yeah. Don't you? Don't you wish your mommy could laugh like mine?
And that's why every mom should take 3 Crowns milk with low cholesterol to help stay fit and healthy so she can take extra care of her family.
Don't you wish your wifey was hot like mine?
3 Crowns now comes in powder.
Welcome back. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, has appealed to Nigerians to salvage the future of the country from the failure of the People's Democratic Party's government by voting him and other candidates of the party in the coming general elections. Buhari made the appeal at a meeting with members of the National Association of Nigerian Students in Lagos. Again, Abiola Oluwole was there and filed in this report.
Students from across the southwestern part of the country converged in Lagos to interact with the APC presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. The students kick-started the meeting by asking Buhari what his government would do differently if elected into office. Before the response of Buhari to the questions of the student leaders, National Chairman of the APC, John Odigwe Oyegun, another stalwart of the party, say the purpose of the meeting was to spread the gospel of change Nigerians are yearning for.
Today, we stand in judgment over 16 years of PDP misrule and 6 years of total backwards movement in every facet of our life. Have you decided to change that? Have you decided to change that?
If you agree that your country is not doing well and you want to change it, you know how momentous this opportunity is. I'm not sure if you are fully conscious of how big this moment is. It will be the first time that citizens of this country in 55 years will be changing a government that they do not like by themselves.
Afterwards, Buhari says if elected into office, his administration will provide leadership that will tackle the menace of corruption, insecurity, and economic mismanagement, which, according to him, are the bane of the country's development.
Economy, the country is destroying. The security, the country is destroying. But we will still have a nation state. Which we, as Nigerians, are correct. And this is what 28th of March and 11th of April are all about. Nobody is going to accept. No Nigerian should accept the extension of the voting day.
As political gladiators continue to win the support of the electorate, the expectation of average Nigerians, according to political analysts, is good governance irrespective of the party that emerges victorious at the polls.
As Nigerians were greeted with endorsement of President Goodluck Jonathan by the national leadership of the Labour Party, the Ekiti State chapter of the party has dissociated itself from the endorsement. Speaking with some party chieftains in Ado-Ekiti, our correspondent Rashid finds out that most of the stalwarts and members of the party lay allegiance to Michael Okpeyemi's Bamidele, the party flag bearer at the June 21st, 2014 governorship election in the state, who pitched his tent with the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Muhammadu Buhari. The report.
As the national leadership of Labour Party joins the array of political parties endorsing the candidature of President Goodluck Jonathan, members of the party in Ekiti State are holding a decent view to this endorsement. According to this party chieftain, Biodun Borishade, the Ekiti State chapter is not in the know of any endorsement.
Every politics is local. With regards to Labour Party in Ekiti State, as at yesterday, 12 midnight, Labour Party had not informed of such decision about endorsing anybody, any of the candidates. Notwithstanding, individuals will remain individuals.
But to these staunch members of the party, the national leadership's decision to endorse Goodluck Jonathan was dismissed as they pitched their tent with the candidature of Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressives Congress through their allegiance to the party leader in Ekiti State, Okpeyemi Bamidele.
Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele has said that we are good, the Labour Party in Ekiti State is going to vote, or going to support Buhari for the presidential candidate. But as to us, we are not alienating ourselves from the party structure at the state level.
What Okpeyemi Bamidele does, to me, I believe I can support his own side because it's my leader.
Ekiti State being controlled by the PDP and with the endorsement of the PDP presidential candidate by the Labour Party, Aborishade speaks on what is to be possibly expected at the general polls in Ekiti State.
We have one leader, we speak with one voice. Honorable Okpeyemi Bamidele remains the Labour Party leader in Ekiti State. He will address us. Both APC and PDP will have the 25% that both parties, that the presidential candidates for both parties need. They will get it from Ekiti State. That I know.
With Ekiti Labour Party supporting Muhammadu Buhari, the March 28 poll will no doubt determine where the pendulum will swing. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
And a political group named Ibadan Patriotic Organization in Oyo State have pledged to support for a former governor of the state and Labour Party governorship candidate Adebayo Alao-Akala. The group said the support of him is based on his past performance in office as governor of the state. Omotayo has more in this report.
In the lead to the fast approaching general elections, the political arena has witnessed more activities, and the eager electorate still bear the responsibility of deciding which candidate or party deserves their vote, adding their nods to that of previous supporters of an Adebayo Alao-Akala-led administration. Members of Ibadan Patriotic Organization say their endorsement of the candidate is not influenced by any economic gain, but the interest of the state and its future.
Today's endorsement of Otuba Alao-Akala has not to do with any pecuniary gain nor influence, but by sentiment of favoritism, but purely on facts and figures before us, which override any other interest whatsoever.
We saw the achievements, past achievements, when they are in governor last time. So that is why we use our club to endorse them.
Responding to the group's endorsement, the Director General Alao-Akala Campaign Organization, Kola Balogun, says the current experience of the people of Oyo State saddens his heart, ascribing it to poor governance and unequal distribution of wealth in the states.
Akala style of governance was given contract to local contractors, and they will go to Baggy, to election lawyer, to spend their profit in the market. So there was money in circulation. He was paying workers' salaries that are when due. Workers will also go to the market and spend that money. So there was no capital flight. There's capital flight now. Most of the contractors are Lagos contractors, and they're sponsored by mommy. And of course, we can also have some Lebanese contractors who are also the king and kings of money.
To back up his endorsement, the Labour Party governorship candidate has not ceased conversing for the vote of Oyo residents to decide what his fate and that of all the governorship candidates will be after the poll. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
President Goodluck Jonathan visited the Awujale of Ijebuland, Sikiru Adetono, in his palace in Ijebode to seek the monarch's blessings for the March 28 presidential elections and his party's bid to take over the southwest. Olajumake Olatunji has more in this report presented from our studios.
In continuation of his re-election campaign and the bid to take over the Southwest in the forthcoming general elections, the president, who has recently paid visit to the influential monarch in Yoruba land, arrived at the palace of the Awujale in company of the PDP leaders in the Southwest. In his welcome address, Awujale of Ijebuland, Sikiru Adetono, charges members of the party and the Nigerian politicians to stop heating up the polity ahead of the general elections, and added that the unity of the country is more important than the coming polls. In his reactions to the monarch's address, President Goodluck Jonathan says he is in his palace to seek his blessings for the 28th of March presidential elections. He also added he will implement the outcome of the 2014 National Conference and will fulfill all his campaign promises if re-elected.
Within these past 4 years, we have tried as a government. No government can complete all projects within 4 years period. The educational sector, so we have tried across the country. The problem of the federal government is that Nigeria is a very fast country. I mean, they do so much, but sometimes some parts of the country do not really notice what they are doing. But we've done quite well. The road infrastructure, we tried, we brought the railways back, tried to improve our terminal buildings and security environment in our airports. The health sector, we have tried both the tertiary level of what we call health tourism. Some of our hospitals are now going for open heart surgery, huge cancer. Even at the primary health level, we're able to eradicate anyone, and we have the way of eradicating polio completely in this country.
While the Ijebus continue to ask for the creation of an Ijebu state and the president continues his moves for re-election, time will tell if both will reach a mutual agreement to work together to achieve each other's objectives.
Well, we'll go for another short break. We'll return to bring news outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Wow, things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Now to outside Nigeria, the daughter of slain Russian opposition politician Boris Nemtsov says President Vladimir Putin is politically responsible for her father's death. Citing reasons in an interview with Italy's BBC, Zana Nemtsov says her father was a critic of Putin. He fought with Putin and nobody else. She blames the president for her father's death. The killing of 55-year-old Nemtsov, who was shot dead close to Kremlin in late February, has infuriated the opposition, which hold Putin responsible for his death. 5 people have been detained and 2 of them charged for carrying out the killing, though Nemtsov's colleagues worry that whoever ordered his murder may not be found. And with that story, we wrap up the news at 7. Don't go away. The reporters comes up after the news. Thank you for watching.